Kitchen, My Rules. And this is a Thanksgiving Day episode, obviously, but you can watch this anytime because who doesn't need a mess of collard greens in their house? And so we are going to make real Southern collard greens today. You're going to love it. Your family's going to love it. And if you're the person sitting there right now going, ooh, what greens? Please don't be that person. Okay. Just learn, how to expand your horizons a little bit. So the first thing you need to have really amazing collard greens is an onion. So we're going to chop an onion because frankly, onion goes in just about everything. And we'll get it cut up here pretty good and get it started. Now I've got to start my collard greens have to start on the early side of your meal because good ones don't happen in 30 minutes. And frankly, y'all know that channel of things Southern people say or do or whatever it's called. And they had one where the Southern people were talking to Siri and Alexa and all these little devices that, by the way, are not in my home. And they were talking about how do you fix collard greens. And the one lady had the device tell her that you could fix them in 30 minutes. And she told Siri and Alexa, no, thank you. And to cut it off, it was pretty daggum hilarious because it's true. Collard greens can't be fixed in 30 minutes. I mean, unless you're buying the glory ones from the grocery store, in which case they're coming out the can, they already fixed. And for your store-bought can, those glory ones aren't bad. And I first tried them after I was riding through the backside of South Carolina one time, and there was like a stretch of the state highway that was vegetable ads, and it was kind of reminiscent of the Burma shave. Is it Burma shave? I think so. I can't remember now, but anyway, it was hilarious to see billboards for black-eyed peas and onions and green beans, and I have never seen it. And we went back down there one time and don't see them anymore. I don't know what happened that time, but anyway, I got to tell y'all that means billboard advertising works, I guess, because that's what made me try that brand of canned greens one time because it was in New Year's when I didn't have time to fix them. Because actually, I've rambled here. You need 3 hours, okay? You need about 3 hours for good collard greens or longer because frankly, they're better on day 2 and day 3 than they are on day 1. The longer they sit and marinate in their own flavor, the better they are. So get familiar with them. Now you can use this same recipe with turnip greens or mustard greens. And if you're not a greens person, then try them all out and see which one you like because they do have different flavors and degrees of bitterness and sweetness. And it's very, very complicated, greens eating. But I will tell you what's not complicated is for the end product, you're going to have vinegar because vinegar goes on good greens. And so let's cut our stock pot on here to a nice medium high because we are going to have to saute these onions. And then after we get those ready, we're going to put some salt pork in there. Now I've got Hormel, which was not my favorite choice to have to do like a brand of salt pork, but the place I usually get my meats was not open when I needed this because it's Thanksgiving Day. And so here I am using Hormel. So say a prayer over me, y'all, because I don't know where they get their pork from, if it's GMO or any of that mess. So just anyway, let's get this ready. So we're going to saute an onion and then we're going to saute our salt pork with it. Now, if you're not a salt pork person, you can use a ham hock, which is even better. My store was also out of ham hocks because obviously I'm in the South and I was fixing this for Thanksgiving. You can also use bacon. You could probably use sausage, although I think that's weird, but you do you. This is not your kitchen. This is my kitchen, my rules, but your kitchen should totally be your rules. Pick any flavorful meat. That's the secret. Country ham is also a wonderful thing for collards. And by the way, some of y'all have asked about the Southern meal for New Year's Day. Here's what y'all got to have. You eat greens so that you will have money in the new year. Some of y'all need to eat more than greens than others. You eat ham so that you will have health because obviously pork makes you healthier. You need black-eyed peas for luck, and you need cornbread because cornbread goes with black-eyed peas and greens and ham. Now I use country ham at New Year's because frankly, I love salt and that is my friend. And for those of y'all that are on salt restricted diets, you should probably find some low sodium sad version that you could use. And so just plan ahead in your head and your shopping for New Year's because we all need 2021 to be amazing. Or if you watch us in a future year, 2022, 23, I don't know how long the internet's going to last, frankly. I didn't know it would last this long. So anyway, I'm going to pause for a second while I wait for my pan to heat up. Do I have to pause? Yes, it's not fast this morning. I think it's because I got too many things I'm cooking. And we'll keep going with the collard greens. I'll show y'all what happens next. Now, if you were in my house right now, what you would smell is the smell that I grew up with. And if you are from the Mallard Creek area, that would be the smell of Grace Deaton's kitchen. Y'all remember Grace Deaton? That's where I learned how to slaughter a hog, because as the kids who stayed over there, we learned all those things. And then in my family, we used to do a pig at Christmas, which we're back to doing that now at my house. It's one reason I got acreage, so I could do a whole pig. And you do not waste pig, y'all. So all the side meat has a purpose. But anyway, now you smell the pork is over here cooking. I forgot to tell y'all that if you cook a whole pound of salt pork, you can save off a couple of bits after it gets cooked to put in your other vegetables. And so I'm going to take about 4 slices of this to save for my green beans, because green beans need to have pork in them too. And I know that you vegetarians are kind of horrified right now that all of my vegetables have meat in them, but you know what? That's just how it goes in my kitchen. So we'll get the salt pork done. And as soon as that's done, we're going to toss in the onions. Now, what else you need for your greens? For my recipe, you need like 3 pounds of collard greens, and you need to be able to wash them and tear them up. And so the collard greens are big. You're going to pull the stalks off because you don't need to eat the stalk. And then just do a rough tear. Now, these are already washed while they're over here in the sink. And so just get busy tearing these up while your salt pork's cooking and while your onion's going. You do want to rinse them first because greens just come straight out the field. And those of y'all that like fancy things from Whole Foods, I don't know if Whole Foods sells greens. Somebody would have to tell me, because that does not fit my mental image of what you get over at the whole paycheck market. So we're going to get a plate here to pull off some of the salt pork from my green beans. Oh my goodness, it smells good. I miss Grace Deaton. I miss George Deaton. I had the best childhood ever, y'all, because that was back in the day. All right, let's get a few slices of this. And then the green beans is sharing with the collard greens. Let's toss in our onion, which is right here. Now my kitchen's really going to smell good. And frankly, this is one reason you own a stock pot. It will do everything for you. But of course, when you have a 3-hour cook time, you got to get busy. Oh, I dropped onion on the floor. Y'all know I can't cotton to having food on the floor. So we're going to cook this until the onions are translucent. And while that's over here, turn that heat down a little bit now that my pork is good. That Hormel was thin sliced. I never used it before, but high five to them for making it easy for me. And then the other ingredients you're going to need 3 quarts of chicken broth. I've got the Harris Teeter reduced sodium today. I know, isn't that a joke? I buy reduced sodium chicken broth, but I'm using salt pork. I mean, it's a balancing thing, y'all. And then you need apple cider vinegar. And of course, I use Bragg's because it has old people on the label. You're going to need about 1/3 cup of that. You're going to need pepper. You're going to need crushed red pepper, or you can use cayenne if you want, but that's weird. Use the little flakes that you put on your pizza. You're going to need some salt. I use Morton's Kosher. And then, of course, I got some Dixie crystal sugar. You're thinking, Lee, what does sugar have to do with this? It's a balancing act with the vinegar. See, you just thought Southern food was just because it's easy. Southern people are smart. We just hide it from y'all sometimes because you make fun of our accents. So I'll be back in 2 seconds, and we'll see where we're at. I was just thinking, I told y'all to take the stalks off your collard greens. I didn't show you the easy way. Fold it half in 2, and then just pull the leafy part off and leave the stalk over here to the side. I don't like the ends, and so I'm just tearing it basically into small pieces. Now, you've heard Southerners refer to making a mess of things, and that doesn't mean we've made, a mess to be cleaned up. A mess is a bunch, and you need a lot. So with collard greens, you got to know, or turnip greens or mustard greens, whichever ones you fix, they're going to cook down, right? So it looks like a whole bunch when you're fixing 3 pounds worth. It will go in 2 seconds flat if you cook it correctly. Frankly, if you make nasty food, nobody will eat it. But if you follow my instructions, people will want to eat what you're fixing. This one's got a little bit of yellow to it. Yellow doesn't hurt you. We'll just minimize that though. It does add some nice color to it. So anyway, what you should know about greens is they're full of all kinds of vitamins, and if you want to help your immune system get stronger, friends, y'all have got to stop eating so much processed food. Everything you eat should not come out of a freezer case or out of a box. Go to the produce section, watch my channel, and figure out how to fix some of this stuff. I mean, it takes you a little bit of time, that's all. And, you know, people know that in the South we have the best barbecue. This is really not up for debate. And barbecue is pork. It is not beef, and it is not a verb. It is a noun. So let's just be clear about that. But anyway, one of the secrets of really good pork barbecue is that we cook it low and slow. So that means low heat, and it takes forever. You don't cook that stuff fast. I mean, even if you're doing it in your house in the oven, it's going to be several hours. Your collard greens are the same way. Low and slow will get you the best results. So you're probably thinking to yourself, but Lee, I have an Instapot and I have a crock pot. Yes, friends, you do. And there's things to cook in there, but I'm just going to just lay it out there right now. Some things in life are worth waiting on. And so be smart, be patient. In fact, teach your children that. Your teenagers and your young people right now do not understand the beauty of delayed gratification. In fact, some of y'all need to learn some delayed gratification, which means you need to resist when there is a new iPhone out, because that is just a budget leak. And your money would probably do a good job staying in your pocket, being turned into gold. Buy some whiskey, buy some ammo. There's lots of things to purchase. And so anyway, we're going to have about 3 pounds worth in my bowl here, and then we'll be right back to toss it into the pot with our chicken broth and our ACV and our spices. Okay, so now we've got our greens ready. And by the way, this is what it's going to look like. So I got a big pan full here. I got all these stalks over here because we don't eat the stalks. So get your 3 containers of chicken broth. Today I've got, I think I already told y'all the Cider brand because it was on sale, and yay for a good sale. I always stock up. That's why I have my appliance graveyard out in the mudroom to put extra things when I find them on sale. And I will say that when you're looking for a house with your realtor, you're not going to find the perfect house. It does not exist. But you get close enough, and then one day you'll get bit by that bug to renovate or build a house, and we're going to smile at you and tell you we can help you, while inside we know you've lost your mind a little bit. And then you're going to build it just like you want it, and then realize when you get done that you forgot something. That's how it rolls. So anyway, we got our 3 containers of broth, and then we're going to toss in about 1/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. I keep calling it ACV because I'm hip and cool. Y'all might not realize that people who wear camo pants and runner t-shirts and show you all their secrets on the internet are cool. So that's probably a 1/2 cup. I needed to get my fresh bottle out anyway. And then we need about a tablespoon's worth of Dixie crystals, just regular white granulated sugar. I don't think I recommend powdered sugar, but that would be weird. So that's going to be about 3 teaspoons, is about a tablespoon-ish. So there we go, we got that. And then we need some salt, and you're going to want about I don't know, teaspoon or tablespoon, actually a tablespoon of nice kosher salt. You actually don't need a heck ton because, again, you have that salt pork in there for flavoring already. Then we're going to put in some black pepper. I put on enough that I can see it around the top of my pot, and that should be about plenty. And then for the crushed red pepper, I'll do about yay much so that I get some heat, but not so much that my mother can't eat it because, you know, she does not like the heat. And then we're going to put our greens in. So we're going to get them into the pot here. And then we'll get our wooden spoon to push them in. And then this is going to sit on the back burner on low heat. So that's going to mean like about a number 2 on your heat. And you're going to let it sit for 2 to 3 hours, longer if you want. It just depends on how wilty you like your greens. Everybody's different. So make sure you push it down into the moisture, which will also mean it gets all the flavor of the onion and the salt pork and all the spices that you put in. And then in just a couple more hours, you will have a vegetable that, you know, we like to say will make you jump up and slap your mama. But in light of being Thanksgiving that I'm fixing it for, let's just say make you jump up and hug your mama. So anyway, I'll show y'all the final result here in just a minute. Okay, so this is your end result. After 3.5 hours, that's what your greens look like, friends. Trust me on this. This is the vegetable you need. It's good for you and amazing, but douse it with some white vinegar before you eat it. It's the best. I'll see you next time on My Kitchen, My Rules.